Funding for this program was provided by Friends, the Iowa PBS Foundation, as well as generations of families and friends who feel passionate about the programs they watch on Iowa PBS.
As legislators gather in Iowa's capital city of Des Moines, Benjamin Correll, Adjutant General of the Iowa National Guard, speaks before the 2022 legislative session. This is the 2022 Condition of the Guard Address.
The convention will be in order. The chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, the Executive Council has arrived in the House chamber.
Please escort members of the Executive Council to their seats. Chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg has arrived in the House chamber.
Please escort Lieutenant Governor Gregg to his seat. Chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, Major General Correll's family and guests have arrived in the House chamber.
Please escort Major General Correll's family and guests to their seats. Chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, your committee to notify and escort Major General Benjamin Carell has arrived.
The committee will escort Major General Benjamin Carell, Adjutant General of the Iowa National Guard, to the rostrum. It's my pleasure to introduce Major General Benjamin Carell, Adjutant General of the Iowa National Guard. Major General Carell is here to present the condition of the Iowa National Guard address.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for that warm welcome. President Chapman, Speaker Grassley, Governor Reynolds, I know you're not here this morning, but I'm sure you're watching me on the public television. Lieutenant Governor Gregg, distinguished members of the Iowa General Assembly, and my fellow Iowans, thank you for inviting me to address this distinguished body and to once again share the story of our Iowa National Guard. It is a tremendous honor to stand before you today representing the dedicated men and women of the Iowa National Guard. On their behalf, I want to say thank you for all that you have done over the years to assist us in building a professional, world-class organization. We are very grateful for the strong support we receive from the members of this General Assembly. I want to publicly thank Governor Reynolds, Lieutenant Governor Gregg, for their leadership and support of all Iowans who serve or have served our nation and our state in uniform. I continue to be appreciative of your trust and confidence in me as I serve as Iowa's 27th Adjutant General. I am extremely honored to lead and represent the soldiers and airmen of the Iowa National Guard. I truly thank this legislative body for your continued support of the Iowa National Guard. The resources and support that you provide makes it possible for the Iowa National Guard to be prepared to respond to the needs of our state and our nation. I realize that it's our people, the individual members of the Iowa National Guard, our families, and our employers who continue to sacrifice their time and talents that allow us to be always ready to respond when needed. Our success is noteworthy considering the challenging and dynamic environment we're operating in, not only with COVID-19, but also with the fluid situations that exist around the world. Since the attacks on 9/11, we've mobilized and deployed more soldiers and airmen than at any time in recent history. More than 17,000 men and women serving in the Iowa National Guard have deployed in support of numerous campaigns around the globe. This past year, 20 years after the attacks on our country, we all watched as the last service members left Afghanistan. For myself, like many others who served there, it was very difficult to watch. I take solace knowing that I, along with those that served beside me, did everything in our ability each day that we served there to achieve an outcome different than what exists today. Almost every community in Iowa has been affected in some way as our all-volunteer military met the security needs of our nation over the past 2 decades. Sadly, not all of our brothers and sisters returned home. 20 members of the Iowa National Guard, along with 79 more Iowans from all branches of our military, made the ultimate sacrifice while defending our nation in armed conflict since 9/11. Today, we have a new generations of heroes in our midst. The men and women who returned home after serving in the global war on terrorism are carrying freedom's torch in the same proud tradition as those veterans of previous conflicts. Like the veterans of World War II, our next greatest generation has returned home with a renewed sense of purpose and energy, eager to contribute their skills and talents to improve life for their neighbors and for their communities here in Iowa. The soldiers and airmen of the Iowa National Guard answered the call on 9/11 and have served continuously since then. We have not had the wealth of such experience and talent concentrated in our state since the end of World War II. I want to thank the thousands of soldiers and airmen and their families for their time, service, and sacrifice. Through them, the Iowa National Guard has truly made a difference in the world that we live in. Although the war in Afghanistan has now ended, the demand placed on the Iowa National Guard remains high. Iowa soldiers and airmen have continued to deploy in support of our nation's defense, filling the operational requirements of our nation's armed forces around the world and at home. During this past year, the Iowa National Guard played a critical role in both overseas and domestic operations for our nation. In 2021, over 1,600 Iowa soldiers and over 200 Iowa airmen served on active duty missions throughout Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. 620 soldiers from the 1st to 133rd Infantry Battalion deployed to Qatar and the United Arab Emirates in support of Operation Spartan Shield. This was the 5th federal mobilization for the Iron Man Battalion in recent years, including a 22-month mobilization in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Members of the 1st to 113th Cavalry Squadron, along with members of the 1st to 168 Infantry Battalion, deployed 160 soldiers to support Operation Enduring Freedom in the Horn of Africa. The 1st to 194 Field Artillery Battalion deployed 250 soldiers that supported security operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. The 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team deployed 360 soldiers to Kosovo, supporting NATO's KFOR mission focused on security and stability of the Western Balkans. The 734th Regional Support Group deployed 80 soldiers to Iraq and Kuwait and provided forward operations-based life support in the Central Command area of responsibility. The 3654 Support Maintenance Company deployed 150 soldiers to Kuwait, maintaining military equipment at 22 separate locations within the CENTCOM area of operations. 75 soldiers from the 171st Aviation Regiment deployed to Kuwait and supported Operation Inherent Resolve and Operation Spartan Shield. We have now welcomed home almost all of these units, our soldiers and our airmen, as they successfully completed these overseas missions this past year. In addition to our overseas mission requirements, we have continued to provide Iowa National Guard members to respond here at home. We have been as busy on the home front as we have been overseas in the past several years. Last January, we sent 265 Iowa soldiers and airmen to assist federal agencies with security missions during the 59th presidential inauguration. This past October, we welcomed home 24 soldiers from the 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team who spent a year supporting federal operations on the southwest border. As they returned, we sent off several dozen soldiers from the 376 Aviation Detachment serving on federal duty supporting Customs and Border operations on the southwest border again this year. This past November, 65 airmen from both the 185th Air Refueling Wing in Sioux City and the 132nd Air Wing in Des Moines deployed stateside to support Operation Allies Welcome, where they remain today. Operation Allies Welcome is the ongoing effort to bring Americans home from Afghanistan and bring vulnerable Afghans to the United States and support their resettlement. This past year saw a significant number of deployments for the Iowa National Guard, both at home and across the globe. I could not be any prouder of these great men and women who make so many sacrifices to continue to serve in our Iowa National Guard. While executing all these missions, our units still found time to demonstrate that they are among the best in the nation at what they do. The 185th Air Refueling Wing in Sioux City was awarded its 15th overall and 5th consecutive Air Force Outstanding Unit Award. The 132nd Air Wing in Des Moines was awarded its 16th overall and 6th consecutive Air Force Outstanding Unit Award. These accomplishments are a direct reflection of the training and readiness of the Iowa National Guard, along with the individual commitment, motivation, and pride of our members. While we are proud of our past accomplishments, we now look forward to the year ahead. The Iowa National Guard will continue to be required to support our nation's federal missions overseas. We have alerted several units for possible deployment later this year. We anticipate we will deploy members of the 209th Medical Company from Iowa City and members of the 1133rd Transportation Company from Mason City to support Operation Atlantic Resolve in Poland. Atlantic Resolve is part of the deterrence initiative focused in Eastern Europe. This enables the United States to provide deterrence to our adversaries while supporting our NATO partners. As we continue to meet the demands of deployments and respond to our state and nation's homeland security needs, we remain mindful of the unpredictable nature of the world that we live in. A world where extremist ideologies and a great power competition are the realities that must be dealt with. As a nation, we must maintain our vigilance and continue to provide our all-volunteer force with the resources they need to fight and win when we call upon them. Our country's leaders must choose wisely on when we want to use our military power, and then clearly define what is the desired end state for the missions that we ask our military to perform. One way that the Iowa National Guard continues to support stability and peace efforts around the world is through our state partnership program relationship with the Kosovo Security Forces under the National Guard Bureau's State Partnership Program. Last year, the Iowa National Guard and the Kosovo Security Force accomplished a historic co-deployment to the Middle East. Kosovo Security Force logistic officers deployed with us, serving in the 734th Regional Support Group, and KSF maintenance personnel deployed with us, serving in the 3654 Maintenance Company. All KSF members were based out of Kuwait, supporting Operation Spartan Shield and Operation Inherent Resolve. This deployment demonstrated the KSF's operational readiness for future missions while building trust and interoperability for additional opportunities for Kosovo to be a security partner that stands side by side with our partners and allies. This strong partnership with Kosovo didn't happen overnight. It's developed over years of engagements that built this strong relationship through mutual goals, respect, and shared interest. This past November, the Iowa National Guard held a series of events celebrating our decade-long partnership with Kosovo. This anniversary was celebrated not only with senior leadership of the KSF, but also with senior Kosovo government leaders, such as the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense, demonstrating the level of importance that we each place on this relationship. We will continue to strengthen this partnership. We have plans for several more training opportunities this year as we work for additional co-deployment opportunities between the Kosovo Security Forces and the Iowa National Guard. Just like our relationship with Kosovo, partnerships within our state are equally important and vital to our success. When talking about the Iowa National Guard, people often focus on our state and overseas missions, but we can't forget that the Iowa National Guard is a community-based organization with an important community mission. Through interagency partnerships with local and state partners, we strive to add value for the people of Iowa. The West Des Moines Armory Project is a great example of this. It involves a partnership between the City of West Des Moines, the West Des Moines Fire Department, and the Iowa National Guard. This $20 million project, 75% federal and 25% state funded, will posture the organization well into the future. I thank this legislative body for your support on this project that was approved last legislative session. Another example of interagency partnership that we are working on with our state partners is the concept of a Midwest Traffic Incident Management Training Center. This training facility would be constructed on Camp Dodge and would allow for driver training on a closed track, accident investigation training, and on-scene management of roadside incidents for the Iowa Department of Transportation, the Iowa Department of Public Safety, and the Iowa National Guard. The Iowa Department of Transportation has the lead on this initiative, but the Iowa National Guard is in full support of the concept, and we are a partner in this effort. These type of partnerships facilitate our ability as a state to respond rapidly to emerging threats that help our fellow Iowans during times of need. These partnerships at every level reflect the sense of community and teamwork that Iowans expect and depend upon. As I've said before, my vision for the Iowa National Guard is focused on always being ready, whether defending our country or coming to the aid of Iowans in times of need. This requires us to be responsible stewards of our resources, ensuring our organization is ready for any task or mission put before us in order to be responsive to the needs of our state or our nation. The Iowa National Guard is focused on 4 lines of effort that help guide the accomplishment of this vision: fielding a competent and ready force, maintaining the right force structure in Iowa, develop and maintain sustainable infrastructure across the state, and caring for our service members, our employers, and our families. To meet the needs here at home and the security requirements abroad, the Iowa National Guard must remain focused on fielding a competent and ready force. We often talk about the impact federal funding has within the Iowa National Guard's support to the state's economy. But just as important is the impact in terms of human capital created by our members returning from military training or from deployments. This training and operational experience is a value-added component that citizen soldiers and airmen bring back to their military and civilian jobs, enhancing the value that they provide within the workplace. This operational experience and training is something impossible to replicate regardless of time or resources available to our civilian employers. When our soldiers and airmen leave Iowa for a deployment, they embark on a journey that leaves them forever changed. They are challenged both physically and mentally in ways that are hard to imagine. They are charged with performing often in dangerous and inhospitable environments, incredible tasks day in and day out. Yet they do so with a steely professionalism and a determination that few who have not experienced this can understand. And when they complete their mission, they return home to their families, friends, employers, and communities to pick up where they left off. For the great majority of these individuals, they return to Iowa more focused, more disciplined, and generally more capable than when they left. Ensuring that our soldiers and airmen that are always ready to respond comes with challenges. Challenges that are no different than those experienced across the country and across the state at this time. This leads into our second line of effort, maintaining force structure. Employers and organizations across the country struggle to maintain their readiness and their ability to operate at full capacity due to a lack of personnel. The sudden emergence of COVID has been and continues to deliver a severe blow to our economy, businesses, and communities. Let me be clear. Federal COVID-19 vaccine mandates will no doubt impact our organization. These mandates have already started to create dilemmas within our ranks where our members must decide to either get vaccinated or be forced to leave military service. We see ourselves as complementary to our full-time Iowa employers. As a primary part-time workforce, our members typically enter our ranks as recent high school graduates. By utilizing the job training and education benefits, they enter the workforce as disciplined, skilled, and educated employees. Regarding education benefits, last year, the number of Iowa Guard members that utilized the Iowa National Guard Service Scholarship increased by 18%. The most recent fall semester has seen our highest benefit usage ever. $2.8 million in higher education assistance at Iowa colleges for our members. That's Iowans serving Iowans, going to Iowa schools, investing in Iowa's futures. It is only from the continued support of this legislative body and your commitment to fund the Iowa National Guard Service Scholarship that we are able to provide this incentive to our members. This not only benefits our men and women, but also the communities and employers across the state where they live and work. I am proud to say that in 2021, the Iowa Army National Guard strength numbers were at 102% of our authorized strength. Additionally, 81% of eligible soldiers chose to re-enlist and continue their service in the Iowa Army National Guard. The Iowa Air National Guard is doing equally well. In 2021, we finished the year at 101% of authorized strength with a retention rate of 93%. Recruiting and retention is a critical task for us. When our ranks are full, we maintain flexibility to perform all of our state and federal missions when we're called upon. The soldiers and airmen we're recruiting today are high-quality young men and women, Iowans who join knowing they could be called upon to serve our nation or our state at any time. This success did not happen by accident. It is a result of hard work of our members working together as a team, building a community-based organization that the people of Iowa can trust and depend upon today and in the future. Our third line of effort is our ability to maintain and develop sustainable infrastructure. Part of my responsibility as the Adjutant General is to look into the future and ensure the Iowa National Guard is postured for continued success. Stewardship of the resources entrusted to us requires us to be responsible not only for our people, but for the state and federal resources that we're entrusted with. Iowa National Guard's annual federal dollar investment into infrastructure spending in an average year is over $25 million. Putting money back into our economy and providing Iowa companies with projects and employment for their workforce. In the past 21 years, the Iowa Army National Guard has completed major modernization projects on 33 of its older readiness centers and maintenance facilities across the state. Our most recent readiness center renovation was in Carroll, a facility that had not received any major renovation projects since it was built in 1987. This $2.5 million renovation was completed last year and included updated mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, paid for with both federal and state dollars. These type of renovations using Rebuild Iowa infrastructure funds allow us to leverage federal dollars to ensure that our infrastructure can support our ability to quickly mobilize and respond to meet the needs of our state and federal obligations. I appreciate this body's continued support with Rebuild Iowa infrastructure funding. Completing these updates and renovations is of particular importance, allowing us to safeguard continuous operations and prevent disruptions when disasters strike, either man-made or natural. Our ability to mass forces across the state in key locations was especially important during the Eastern Iowa derecho, where we staged Iowa National Guard members at our Cedar Rapids Readiness Center in order to quickly assist utility companies in electrical power restoration. Another way we're working to improve our state responsibility across agencies is through our Continuity of Operations initiative. This effort will allow all state and local partners a redundant backup system in order to accomplish essential response functions and maintain communication continuity across the state in the event that the state's primary communication systems goes down. As it stands today, there is no backup for our communication system. Using both state and federal funding sources, we are investing capabilities that will make Iowa's emergency management systems more responsive and redundant. This initiative will require state funding support that we will ask for this year from the Technology Reinvestment Fund. Successful completion of this project will prevent lapses in critical communication capabilities during a crisis, ensuring our ability to meet the expectation of Iowans in times of need. Finally, I want to share with you a little bit about our soldiers, airmen, and families. As I've said before, without our people, the Iowa National Guard simply would not exist. We recognize that military service places significant demands and stress, not only on our service members, but on our families as well. Today, I have with me several members of the Iowa National Guard who are typical of the types of people that make up our organization, and I'd like to introduce them to you today. First, I'd like to introduce Private First Class Taylor Pattison. PFC Patterson is the first female in the Iowa National Guard history to enlist and then become qualified as an infantry soldier after successfully completing infantry training at Fort Benning, Georgia. Go ahead, stand up. Please. PFC Pattison is from Ankeny, is attending Iowa State University studying animal science as she breaks barriers for others to follow. She's here today with her parents, Justin and Cynthia Patterson. We're proud of you. Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce to you Chief Warrant Officer 5, Stephen Swisher. CW5 Swisher retired this past November as the longest serving member in Iowa National Guard history, having actively served our state and our nation for 44 years, 7 months, and 18 days. Chief, stand up. Chief Swisher enlisted on December 2nd, 1976, at the age of 17. CW5 Swisher and his wife, Lori, live in Glenwood. Lori couldn't make it today, but I'm sure she's watching from home, Chief. Our people are truly what makes our organization world-class. I also want to make you aware of a program today that the Iowa National Guard is using that helps make the Iowa National Guard unique and stand out among others while adding value to our communities and to our state. It's called the Expedited Citizenship and Sponsorship Program, also known as ECAS. This program allows the Iowa National Guard to help soldiers who have completed at least 1 year of Iowa National Guard service to gain U.S. citizenship. We began supporting this program in April of 2020, and since then, at least 45 Iowa soldiers from 18 different countries have gained United States citizenship and continue to serve today in the Iowa National Guard. This program is changing lives while adding value and diversity to our organization and to our state. In closing today, if we are to be truly successful in our mission, we must continue to look to the future. We must be prepared for what the world will look like in the years to come. There are complicated security challenges emerging in our world every day, and we know that we must always be ready to respond when called. Trust that we are well postured to fulfill any mission that may arise, whether it be for the people of Iowa or for the people of our nation. From our strong strength numbers, our our sound infrastructure management, our solid partnerships, along with the consistent support from communities across Iowa, and most importantly, with our greatest resource, the thousands of Iowa men and women who are willing to stand beside me and answer the call to serve our nation and our state. I assure each of you that the condition of our Iowa National Guard is now and will continue to be strong. Your Iowa National Guard has always been there. We've always answered the call, and we've never failed a mission. We are always ready. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you the story of our Iowa National Guard. God bless.
Will the committee to escort the Major General please come forward and escort Major General Carell from the House chamber?
Funding for this program was provided by Friends, the Iowa PBS Foundation, as well as generations of families and friends who feel passionate about the programs they watch on Iowa PBS.